we start chatting about all of the cute little animals that are stealing Georgina's veggies and hop into tonight's session.
Yeah.
How's that for a segue?
Hey.
What happened last session, guys and gals and folks?
I didn't get to fully listen.
Folks.
My notes are all messed up too.
Guys, gals, folks.
Everything's out of order, so I am also not sure what happened.
I've got 2 pages of notes. How much do you want?
Wait, I found it.
All of it. What you got?
I didn't have a pen last session, so
You're that kid in class?
It's funny that in some ways Sean and I are so related, but in other ways we're not related at
Yeah.
all.
No, what did we do? We finished up with Aurora's family. We disseminated gear and we went shopping. So I think that's pretty much it.
Didn't we
we went to meet up with the chicken tenders. And
Yes, the chicken tenders.
yeah, and then we kind of like learned more information about what's been going on at the Grove.
Yeah.
We got to ask a bunch of questions.
Talked about the dawn of creation, the aspect of ice. We have our own personal debrief. We buy sandwiches, and I have the orders.
Extra pickles. I
So
remember that.
Elle had cold cut combo.
Yep.
Apoc had a ham and cheese. Mrs. Q had cheese and pickle with extra pickle. Basil had a roast beef the size of his head, and Aurora had a salad. She's that person who goes to Subway and orders a salad.
Oh my God.
It's
Uh,
so true, though.
yes, this point.
Aurora sends message to Stoner friend about the aspect of ice.
And it's located.
Aspect to the north, rumblings below the earth, biggest danger to the south. Gosh, there was no way I was going to remember this.
It was
But
quite a lore-heavy episode last session. And shopping heavy.
Then I believe like after that, the tenders were saying that they needed a couple days to recoup before heading out. I think we said like 2 or 3 days. And then we went shopping. We went on a splurge.
Yes, we
Used
used a lot of Aurora's daddy's money.
Yes, and a lot of those items should be in your inventories now,
Yeah.
with the exception of, I think, a few items you had on order at Tabitha's.
Yes, more potions.
More potions and Basil's sword. So Basil, right now you will not see your great sword in your inventory. But yes, you had your meeting with Astra, the leader of the Tenders, the twin sister of Aelin, who seemed to be taking a bit of a special sort of passive interest in Elle as she was telling you myths and legends, your choice whether you choose to believe them, about the dawn of creation and about the Grove itself. You were released with the intention of leaving within a few days, 2 days, for Apoc to get the rest of his potions that he ordered from Tabitha. And with the time you had, you did go shopping for all the goodies. Aurora realizing that Sozin, the owner of the pawn shop adjacent buy and sell, is very quick to drop some prices at the mention of her family name.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. And Elle, before leaving the trunk market for the day, dropped off a few letters in some mailboxes for the other children that she knows of, trying to make connections with Evie Zogma and Iro Volta. We will pick up as the day is winding down at this point. You've spent all afternoon and the early evening in the trunk market. It's easy enough for you to reconvene back at the hotel you've stayed in before. I believe it was called the Golden Pothos, if I have that right. Or if there's anything you'd like to do tonight, we can pick up there, but it is evening at this point. Is there anything you'd like to do to finish off the day before a long rest?
Can I try and attune to my new stuff?
Absolutely. You can take your time to attune to your new stuff.
I was
Aurora?
gonna do the same thing. If I can read the book. Now I noticed that it requires a longer time to attune than just a long rest. So do you want me to like just keep track of that? Because it says
How long does it take?
I think it says like where is it? Something like a week.
That is far too long. Just tomorrow morning, you're good.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you wait a week. That's silly.
Yeah, there's a full week of reading to attune to it.
Yeah. But as you do start to read a bit more, the underlying hum that you've kind of noticed off and on during the day is when you're in quiet settings, it's more pertinent. It's almost like a vibration through your feet that you feel as you are just sort of sitting, not meditatively, but focused on the words in your book. Elle, Basil, Mrs. Q, anything from you before to finish off the night?
I've got a couple things, but other folks go ahead.
Mrs. Q got a rod from Aurora. Can she investigate it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go ahead and roll me. I'm gonna say either an Arcana or an investigation check.
What is that?
We've had that for ages.
You've never used it?
No, I've had no need.
Bro,
Bro.
that would have been amazing.
No, when have we needed that?
But you're thinking in a traditional sense. Well, imagine you just held it up to somebody.
Yeah, I know exactly what it's
Okay, I will keep that in mind.
Taking out
Let's
that small creature like that.
do an Arcana check. Wah, wah, wah. That is a 10.
A 10? I mean, you have the time to hold it in your hand. This is more just how long it's going to take you to figure out. So with your Arcana check, as you kind of do the thing where it's sitting in front of you and you're sitting and looking at it. And you pick it up, sort of look at it from a different angle, twist it once, put it back down and stare at it. It will take you the better part of a night.
Okay.
But along those, like around that time, you do start to notice it seems perfectly smooth, but the closer you look, there almost seems to be just sort of like etchings, very fine, very, very fine, nearly invisible etchings. And they all seem to kind of swirl and culminate at one end of the rod, where you can feel like an indentation, like not an indentation, like a little raised part at one end of the rod. Seems to be just etched out and almost, well, the longer you look at it, it looks like a button.
Ooh.
Okay.
Are you gonna push the button?
Is it a giant?
Do you push the button?
I see nothing else on it that would indicate what would happen if I push the button.
There's no it's like an artistic, very fine etch. So if you think of like a piece of jewelry, kind of like if you got somebody's like name or something on the inside of a ring, but if it was very, very fine. And the closer you look, the design does seem to circle around this button, like all the paths lead to this button, essentially. But it doesn't look like anything, just some swirls, some paisley pattern kind of situation.
Okay. Where are we right now?
This could be like in your hotel room. This can be, while you're waiting in the trunk market where you started noticing this button. But as the night winds down, I'd say you're probably in your sleeping quarters.
Okay.
You could be with people if you want. This is totally open.
Nobody's gonna yuck on your yumps.
Probably not a bomb or anything like that. So you
I
probably
can't imagine Aurora would give me a bomb.
Well,
Okay, Mrs. Q looks
There.
around at the people who are in her room and says, I'm about to do a thing. And she pushes the end. She pushes the button.
You push the button.
Push the button.
You push the button as you're holding it, and you don't. Yeah, you don't feel anything right off the bat, but you go to kind of pull it closer to you, and it doesn't budge.
like
Oh.
it's like it's just floating
I
right
guess it's
there.
like stuck in space.
You let go, and it seems stuck in space in midair.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's cool. Be handy. Okay. Okay, she clicks the end again. Does it release?
And you can feel the weight fall back into your hand.
That's
So you can add an immovable rod to your inventory.
Immovable rod.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Aurora.
That's very cool.
I'm gonna cast Sending and say, "You're welcome."
Cool.
Hey, which one of you guys does fire damage? Nobody? Yeah?
Yeah.
Hit me.
This again.
Okay, sure. Let's see what I do.
Basil really just goes with the flow.
I will. I'll do this. Which one is it? Okay, can't remember which one it is, but nighttime anyways. So I'll say I'll take like a dagger or something out of my bag, and I'll like kind of like just like concentrate on it, and the next thing you know, it's gonna like almost like picture it like it just engulfs in flames, and I'm just like, you ready?
That's a fire, not a dagger.
I mean, roll an attack roll, I guess.
I'm leaping in the way because I'm trying to get hit by the fire.
You want it to hit you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll hit you.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Well, I want to see if it doesn't hurt as much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I understand what you're attempting to do here. Okay.
Can I like throw the knife in a way where like the handle hits them instead of the blade? I wasn't thinking about this.
Yes, you are a high enough level now.
You hold it backwards when you throw it.
Yeah. You're able to like toss it so that it just thunks off of his chest. I mean, it's hard to tell right at this instant. It doesn't feel like if you go to put your arm a little close to the dagger on the floor, it doesn't outright feel like it's hot to the touch or anything, or kind of bleeding through. The feeling of heat is bleeding through your new armor, but it's kind of hard to tell with a small flame.
Even if I grab the fire, does it hurt me?
If you grab the fire, if you go and grab right onto the dagger, yes, it does hurt you. With your bare hand?
Yeah. How much damage?
Also, you take a point of damage for this.
Reduced in half, so I don't take any damage. Right? That's how resistance works. So it doesn't hurt me.
Hold on.
I'm trying to gauge how strong this ring is as I'm wearing it.
Oh, right, you have the ring. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, that might have been good context.
Yes.
Yeah,
you have resistance to fire damage. So for this particular instant, because it's a pretty small flame, you feel the heat, but you're able to grab on Kind of like the old grandmas do,
Yeah.
where they don't use oven mitts to take stuff out of the oven. And if you do it fast enough, you feel nothing. But you get the sense that if you were to continue holding on to this dagger, that's when you might start to feel stuff.
Grandma,
I hold the fire dagger and I just hand it back to Basil. This ring is doing its charm.
Huh. And he'll start just like playing with his dagger. Very cool.
Sorry, love.
That's okay. There's a lot of goodies in your inventories now. You're gonna have to help me out with it a bit.
Yeah.
Basil, was there anything you wanted to do? Or Aurora, anything else?
No, I think reading would take up most of the time. I'll attune to the staff as well, and then, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Right. Elle, is there anything you wanted to do?
Yeah. While everyone is kind of doing their own thing, Elle's gonna try to slip out of the room and up to the highest point she can get, which without going too away from the party, I'm guessing is like the roof of wherever we're staying. She wants to get closer to the sky.
Yep. So the hotel you were staying at before, if you went back to it, or the inn you were staying at before, is at the upper ring in the Canopy Market. There's only one ring above you. It's the council chambers. But I'll say, for the purposes of this, there are some windows, some bores, some holes in the upper floor that allow the natural sunlight and the moonlight down into the more ritzy Canopy Market, where you could look up and see stars through the more dimly lit Canopy Market.
Okay. She's gonna find a spot that is as windy as she can find, so probably the peak and right to like the top of something. She's gonna sit down, crisscross applesauce, and going to ritual cast divination.
Oh.
And what does that look like?
So
What does that look
Elle
like
is
to little
making-
Elle who's never done it before?
Well, she sits down and is like, all right, I think I got this. And she's gonna kind of sit and like almost meditate, but with the intention of hearing and listening to the wind and feeling it on her feathers and thinking about everything Master Wayra has taught her. Like talking to the wind for her has been pretty easy up till now, and she's finding it hard now that she's kind of out of her forest and her home. But she feels like she's going to put a lot more intention behind reaching out because she needs a few more answers right now to settle her mind.
As you're sort of sitting in this state, just trying to focus, taking a couple big deep breaths in and out. On the exhale, you feel it whoosh out of your chest. You can feel it tingle the skin, the little scales on your hands, ruffling the feathers around your forearms. And you start to feel that rustle kind of move up your arms, kind of shake around your head as you come into this quiet meditative state. What question do you ask?
Ella's going to think about that little note that she found in the book when we were at the avium. And she's going to ask, I'm not sure how to word this. She's going to ask, if my mom knew about my destiny, will she make me do it by myself?
To you, it sounds like you speak these words out loud, although any passerby who may notice you at the top of this inn, just sort of perched on the roof of this building, doesn't hear or see anything out of the ordinary except for a kid sitting on the roof. And as you almost shakily take a deep breath in, the wind around you becomes very gentle. You feel more of a warmth than a cold. You smell just the faintest little bit of salt on the air, a little reminiscent of home. Growing up, not on the Talon Grip coast, but closer to it. You relax just a little bit farther, allowing another deep breath to leave your lungs. And as you do, you get an overwhelming sensation that the wind, as it kind of comforts around you like a little pillow, is giving a comforting response of yes.
Elle's gonna sit there for a little bit longer on her own and just look out over the city. Before taking out her book that she keeps under her wing. And she's gonna look at the pictures that she has drawn of her dad and her brothers and sisters and her grandmother. She's gonna look at the picture of our party, of Mrs. Q and Basil and all the people that she's drawn. And she's gonna flip over the picture with her family and she's gonna look at kind of more of an outline than a full drawing of what she remembers her mom to look like. She's gonna sit there for a bit and then come back into the room. I think she'll go and try to bug Aurora, clearly because she sees her reading a book. And just trying to like and just kind of get back into like the swing of the evening. And she's also going to sit and attune to this pearl of power that she now has.
Hey, Elle, you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. She doesn't look great, but
Insight check.
But it's okay. We'll roll with disadvantage.
Yep.
21 or a 16. 16.
Okay, and what am I doing? Oh, I only rolled a 12.
So now, Elle, I think you look a little bit more shook up than you want to admit, and that's okay. You don't have to share anything with me. Just know that I'm here to lend an ear if you need, or a shoulder if you need that too, or a hug. Share as much as you want. I'll keep your secrets.
Gonna kind of eye you a little suspiciously, and she's gonna sit near you with her back to you and just pull out her books and kind of start drawing.
I'm gonna pull out my tarot deck and draw a card to try and suss out.
Go for it.
How does this work again? Hey, Elle. Did I ever tell you the story of the...
Yeah.
Ever tell you the story of the squirrel who lost his nut?
She's gonna look at you like this is some kind of trick.
No. So he was desperately looking for it, couldn't find it, couldn't dig it up, and winter was coming. And he knew that if he didn't have his nut, he wouldn't be able to survive through winter. Instead of throwing himself at that impossible task of digging it up, he reached out to his friends that had more experience with other skill sets. He went to his owl friend who thought could see where it is from a higher vantage point. That didn't work. He went to his canine friend who could sniff things out. That helped a little bit, kind of got the area down. and then finally found an older squirrel that knew exactly how to find things that were lost. Anyways, the moral of the story is you might not be able to do it on your own, but the clever animal knows to reach out to their friends to make sure that they can survive one more winter. You now have advantage on your intelligence, wisdoms, and charisma checks.
Indefinitely?
I was going forever.
What is this book?
It was the tarot deck.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. No, you have for the next 10 minutes.
All right, let's do all the things, guys. But I am exhausted, so I don't know if it will make a huge difference. Okay.
Ooh, I got something for that. Well, while I was in the market, I got some tea.
I mean, we're gonna go to sleep soon, right?
Got some coffee?
I make you some like nighttime tea. It's got like an herbal. It's a loose leaf tea that it removes 2 points of exhaustion instead of 1.
No, save it. I've only got one, and it should be gone if I sleep.
There you go. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Just denies the drink.
Well, it's 50 gold gone to waste. There's.
You just had to look exhausted.
I've been exhausted since we left the avium.
Much like any student.
Yeah.
Yes. As she's sitting there sipping.
Exhausted.
So, even if the nut is really, really big, the squirrel's friend helped.
Yep.
What if the nut had been missing for a really long time?
Well, that squirrel was missing the nut all summer, which is an eternity for a small little squirrel.
Well, summer's pretty long. What if you don't entirely remember what the nut looks like?
Does it really matter what the nut looks like? It doesn't even have to be the same one. If it serves the purpose of keeping you alive through the winter, I think you can just be happy.
Okay, I think we're mixing our metaphors at this point, so okay.
You look tired.
If we like a mother, but actually a mother, and that's probably fine.
And serve their purpose. Yeah.
Are we all hearing this, or are you guys off on your own?
I think we're in the same. Actually, that's a good question.
I think
I
I'd have a room to
assumed we
myself.
were all in the same room.
I'd have a room to
Oh,
myself
okay.
for sure.
Well, Elle would have come and visited, but she'll probably end up going back to stay near Mrs. Q.
Okay.
Love that. You can both take an inspiration for that because that was beautiful. All right. Is there anything else before you drift off this evening? Knowing that you do have another day here in the Tree City. All right, hearing none. Excuse me, sorry. As you all retire with your new toys attuned, grabbing fire in one room and having a heartfelt conversation in the other, you are all able to find yourself to sleep, to get a nice long rest. You can get your long rest. And as you wake up, Elle, particularly as you wake up, you remember instantly passing out after the herbal tea. But as you wake and kind of start to just sort of rub your eyes and get yourself awake, you notice that you do have some like crayon, pencil, charcoal kind of on your hand. And as you sort of just start to like dig around and look, you see the book that you were drawing in the previous night. The silhouette, the partial silhouette on the page of your mother. You see a few more details that have been added to it. You see the shape of a jawline. You see the outline of like one eye, the like start of the bottom of the beak, and some like almost what looks like a freckle, the like a barred speckled feathers along one cheek. It's not complete, but there's a few more details that you don't remember drawing.
Oh.
The day is yours, though, as you are all groggy, waking up. Any exhaustion that you did have, you lose another point. I think it was only Elle at this point, although with the tea, now she's very awake. And as you walk down into the main lobby of this inn, the continental breakfast once more um, greets your senses as you come. You do see, as you are walking down, you catch a glimpse of Astra and Aelin, the two tenders, that just sort of catch your eye, give a wave before leaving the inn itself. Is there anything you would like to do today? This will be by your count and from what you know of the tenders, your conversation with the tenders, this is your last full day as you will be leaving tomorrow morning.
There are some things I would.
Elle.
Sorry, we'll start with you, Basil. Elle will come to you in a second.
There are some things I would want to do, but I don't know if they necessarily need to play them out. It was more just like for story, for his character.
Sure.
Like, we probably want to like visit on his family and just kind of like tell them all about how his adventures have been. I thought it would be kind of like cute if he. I was looking back at the old notes, and the in the lower levels, the crooked route.
Yep.
Where it was like Charlotte and Delilah, and then all the Gerbian kids that they were taking care of. And
Yep.
there was a kid, I believe it was Thomas, if I'm reading the notes correctly, who Basil had like told him all these stories about like being a knight, and told him about Gaspard, like the Gerbian deity that he follows, and then had given him his old knight's cloak. And so I want to go and visit them, just to kind of stop in and like kind of show him all the souvenirs he's picked up. Like he has like the skull of the summoned creature. He has like a giant spider's web. I don't know, some like a ball of the spider's web, and just kind of like visit them and have fun.
Before you
that.
go, did you want me to pick up your sword for you when I go to Tabitha's?
Well, I mean, I assume that wouldn't take all day, right?
No. It wouldn't take all day. It's a pretty quick in and out. But yeah, if you just wanted to do those three things, going to see your family, they are enraptured. Lavender is home at the time. Same with the Corvum, Arna, who has been helping Lavender around. The splotch of white, very recognizable, as she is sitting like enraptured by your stories, all of them, your parents, Lavender and Arna. As Arna is the one bustling around, making sure there's tea, making sure that your parents have a fresh pot, a fresh cup to continue drinking through the time, and giving Lavender a bit of a breather. Going to see Thomas and his siblings, they have gotten significantly bigger over the past couple weeks that you've been away, because little Durbings grow quite quickly when they're young. But you see the cape that you had given Thomas. It is pristine, like cleaner than when you gave it to him. It looks like he has sewn up any rips. And Charlotte and Delilah have made the place kid friendly. Instead of a pub, it's more like a family restaurant in the lower markets, the lower routes.
I don't think that's the
Yeah, those are really, really cute. And yeah, it's easy enough to hop into Tabitha's. If you wanted to just pop in aside from Apoc, to grab your sword. As Tabitha gives it to you, it doesn't look any different, but she kind of just gives you a wink, doesn't say a word, and hands it to you.
Okay.
And you can add Basil's super magical greatsword, is what I called it, to your inventory. If that's even searchable.
Whoa. Okay. Let's see this.
Good.
And I was thinking too hard about what it does. I didn't think of a name. Basil can give it a name.
No, I love the name. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Apoc, Aurora, and Mrs. Q, unless Elle, we were supposed to hop to you next. As long as Basil didn't want to do anything else.
I would probably wait till it's later in the night. And when you had mentioned that a few sessions ago, I had gone up, Basil had gone up and knocked on the door of like Cosmo's old house.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he would want to like go actually check it out, like do kind of like a break and enter and check it out.
Okay, you want to go and break and enter at Zogma's house.
Mm,
Are you taking anyone with you?
probably not. I was like,
I'd be the worst one to take, honestly.
I think Apoc's got experience with breaking and entering.
I was wondering when that was going to come back.
From my recollection, it was like an abandoned place, right?
It looked abandoned, as in boarded up windows. You saw the shattered glass, the unkept lawn, like very much like a Riddle house in the fourth Harry Potter movie kind of thing. Yeah, like everything's kind of like weathered and sort of soot stained, curling in the wooden rafters, or what's the thing on the roof? Shingles.
Mm.
It looks abandoned, and from what you know, from what Jesper has said, the rumor is that it's haunted, or it's
Okay.
cursed, or the neighborhood kids don't go there.
Rumor has it.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be like he would wait till it gets dark enough, and then he would just kind of just sneak in. Maybe he like does the same thing he did with the dagger, engulfs his sword and fire, and uses it almost like a torch as he like walks around the house just to check it out and see what's going on. In his mind, he sees it as like this is the last place Zogma was, and he just needs to know like, is it really abandoned? What's going on in there?
Okay, if you're gonna do that later in the night, I'm gonna say we're probably gonna come back to you. It's not gonna be as easy as breaking down the door.
Cool.
We're gonna come back to you and see what everybody else wants to do during the day. But I love it. Elle, we're gonna hop to you next, since you were next, and then Apoc, Aurora, and Mrs. Q, just let me know when you'd like to hop in. Elle, what you got?
So
What are
Elle
you
has
doing for
two
your last
things.
day?
She's got two things that she's probably going to want to do that are kind of errand related. Despite knowing she probably doesn't have anything, she wants to go to the post office in Elderheart. And she's not exactly sure because she doesn't want to impose, but she's gonna go up to Aurora and be like, so and then like kind of word vomit out basically like, should I go get something fancy to wear? Are we still to go see your parents? I feel really nervous to go see your and like she's gonna start to just ramble about this potential family dinner and whether or not she needs to get fancy for it.
Al, let's do this together. I think your instincts are right. You probably dress up, get something nice. I can give you 10 gold to put towards a nice little dress. It's quite a bit, but you're a growing girl, and it'll probably be like 1 or 2 uses before you grow out of it. But I want you to feel special in it. So let's go pick something else, something out.
All right. What do you pick out? We'll fast play this. What do you pick out? Elle, what do you find?
Weirdly, Elle is not like really a dress kind of girl, but because Aurora mentioned a dress, she's gonna find like a little poofy like tutu skirt. But she's also gonna want like suspenders and a bow tie. like a kid playing dress up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's adorable. If you get it from the kids section, there's no tax. So it's
Nice.
like a gold, like 2 gold kind of thing.
And then I was gonna check in with Mrs. Q while we're doing this. Kind of makes sense because I had on my list of things to do was get a mani-pedi. So like a little girls trip, we go to get some mani-pedis while we get Elle all dressed up.
Mrs. Q would be so down.
In the canopy market, there is this like it's almost bumped out in a little bubble with like 360-degree like there's no why there's no railing. It looks like you could just walk off at any moment so that you get a 360-degree view of the forest of Humblewood laid out behind you. But as you kind of reach out, your hand sort of hits on this invisible barrier, this invisible bubble that keeps the warmth and the steam and the music and the scents in this little spa. You can definitely get a mani-pedi. That's absolutely adorable.
That's all I
With
had on
Mrs. Q and her sewn petticoat. Sorry, Aurora.
That's all I had on my list for today.
It's a me day.
It's a me day. Yeah, it's a treat yourself day. Elle, I will say to wrap up the post office, you can go. There is nothing waiting for you if you were trying to see.
Okay.
It's been a day that you sent the letter. Come on.
I know, but I'm 12,
Like 12
and
hours.
I'm overeager. I'm overeager.
Fair. Mrs. Q? Then Apoc?
Given that she has time, she will allow herself to indulge in her hobbies and go and find the nearest plant/gardening store and look for any cool seeds. She's thinking specifically, or she is wondering if this giant tree that everyone lives in produces flowers and seeds, and if so, what they do with them. I think all trees produce seeds. So she would want to ask an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the nursery and talk about local flora with someone.
Perfect. So you do find a nursery. It is called Robbie Plant.
Love it.
Yep.
Yep.
And you are easy enough to find Robbie, who is this very tall, lightning rod thin. He would be a servant, I think. This very tall, very thin servant. No antlers. He's just got very big, pointed deer ears. And he's got the tiny little baby deer freckles along his face. Although you get the sense that he is not a young servant. And as you chat him up, he is getting more and more eager, kind of like when 2 11-year-olds are talking at each other and they just get more and more excited, even though you can't really keep track of the conversation anymore. But you do get the sense, He does tell you that the tree of Alderheart, being the old growth tree, the old growth forest that it is, no one is allowed to really harvest any seeds from Alderheart or any leaves from Alderheart unless they fall off the tree. And although the tree is living, in order to survive the winter, the tender on staff is able to keep the tree green all year round. So in a state of perpetual spring, here in the Tree City. So unfortunately, you don't have any seeds from the Tree of Alderheart itself. But Robbie is well traveled and has traveled as far north as the northernmost peak of the mountain. And along his travels, he does produce some very interesting ferns that you have never seen before. They're like tipped in silver. They look very small, but Robbie assures you that they get to like 6 feet tall if you put them in the right conditions. You see he pulls out this climbing plant that as you're even just watching it for the minute you're chatting about it, you see it grow another inch. It seems to like fast grow almost. It's got this like variegated leaf of yellow and green and white. And he kind of after like looking almost guiltily over his shoulder, he pulls out a very tiny little chest with a very tiny little lock on it. After about like an hour of chatting with you about plants, and opens it as he kind of holds up one little seed, and you can see in the little chest there's only 4 of these seeds, and he just sort of puts it in your palm and kind of closes your hand around it, and just sort of whispers to you, this is a sunflower seed. They only grow in the north. You won't find them anywhere else, and I got to name them. I call them that because they follow the sun. But if you can plant it and get it to grow, it's this like big yellow ball. And I think these are edible. I accidentally ate one and it was okay, but you should plant it first. As he just like kind of tucks your hand away with the seed in it.
That's so cool. Mrs. Q, as she like talking very excited. That's exactly what it's like. She tells, I did that with the box, right? The Apoc found that you could like stuff in and it stayed alive.
Yep.
She tells Robbie about this box and is like, what do you think I should put in this box? Because I'm about to go on an adventure, but this box will keep anything that I take with it alive. So if there's anything in particular you want to make sure makes it, spread it around if it's an endangered species, you let me know and I can put it in this box and I will plant it when I get home.
He kind of like thinks for a second as his eyes kind of grow wide, and he sort of thinks for a second. And he kind of almost absent-mindedly sort of like turns around and moves his way through. You thought it was like just a vine covered wall, but he actually like pushes some of the vine aside to move into a back room. And you kind of hear some clanking and some shuffling. And as he comes out, he has like 2 little flowering plants in his hand. One of them is extremely aromatic. The smell kind of hits you as soon as it comes through. And it's got tiny little yellow flowers at the very top. The other one is still in its bud form, but it's got like very floofy palm-like skinny leaves attached to it. And he kind of holds both of them out. And he says, I've only got like 3 of each. I'd love for them to be kept safe if you can. I've only named this one. As far as I can tell, this one is named Mint. A trader brought it in from overseas. That's why it smells. That's what he said anyways. But this one, I haven't named this one. Don't even know what she looks like. The flower hasn't opened yet. So if you want to keep it and then come up with a name and then let me know, got a couple other plants if they make it in the back. So
Mrs. Q's magical flower.
yeah, super magical flower.
Mrs. Q takes them very carefully and puts them in her box and says, I think this is the start of a very good professional relationship.
I agree.
I shall write to you and send you drawings.
Please, the more color you can add in, the better. I don't know what it looks like, but, we can make it grow here. I'm sure there are a lot of gardens. Well, not really gardens, like window boxes that could use it.
Agree. Cool. Do I
But
owe you
yeah.
any?
Um, I mean, if you had like, just in case they don't make it, it cost me a gold to get all the plants back there. So if you had like a gold just in case I have to buy more mint or more of that flower, that'd be great.
No problem. She hands over a gold.
Perfect. Right. And then wander off with your new chest of goodies to your spa day with the girls. Apoc.
Well, first I want to go to Tabitha's
Right.
to get the 2 remaining potions.
You see Basil walking out with his sword.
Finger guns. No finger guns back? Okay, there you go. We don't need to roleplay it because I think it's just gonna be like a quick in and out unless Tabitha wanted anything else. But then for the rest of the day, I actually wanted to head down to the trunk market as well.
Mhm.
Kind of, I guess, on Sir Basil's heels. But I'm hoping through use of my own innate tracking skills, as well as the contingency bracelet and periodic locate objects, I want to try and find Camembert.
You want to try and find Camembert?
If there's any trace of him around. And Eric, you might need to refresh me on this because I forget exactly what Cam was wearing, but if there was like a unique necklace or piercing, I can't remember if he had one.
No, the Aurora's got a piercing, but
Yeah.
Camembert, let's see, he had a lot of fun hats.
Yeah.
Had, the last time he had the captain's armor that he was wearing.
I think whatever the most like memorable hat that I remember, like was there a feather in his hat at one point?
He had a bowler's hat.
A bowler's hat. That's what it was. Thank you. So I guess thinking about the bowler's hat, I can only cast it 3 times. So I guess when I get like a scent that I might be near him, because the contingency bracelet allows the wearers to keep a connection with each other no matter how far away. But they also, the wearers are able to better track one another through shared connection. So advantage on wisdom or int to track.
To track, okay. Okay.
So I don't know if he's even in the city, but that's what Apoc would be spending his afternoon doing.
Okay, yeah. So as you walk down with Basil keeping on into the roots. Hanging out in the trunk. Sorry, go ahead. But
I do want to say, like, not to approach Cam, but just to like check in on him and see from a distance if he's okay.
Okay. The 2 potions you get from Tabitha are not experimental.
Okay.
So you have 1 experimental and 2 that are going to act as intended.
Okay.
And as you spend the better part of like the late morning, better part of the afternoon, sort of using your contingency bracelet, touching the band, as you sort of speak Camembert's name for the spell itself, you see it just start to glow a little bit. I'd like you to go ahead and make a just give me a, what would it be? Tracking survival. Just give me a survival. See what you get.
That's a 14.
14.
And there's nothing to add with the bracelets or.
It is advantage with the bracelet.
Okay.
Sorry.
15.
15, okay. It's one better.
Every point counts.
Yeah, as you are just trying to use all of your skills, the locate object you said you have, letting that go off once. It goes for about 10 minutes, so just trying to cover as much as you can. The trunk market is big. Alderheart is big. 1,000 feet is only 300 meters-ish. So as you are trying to cover as much distance as you can, you definitely do find yourself, although you don't get a ping of Camembert, you do find yourself walking past like the pawn shop quite a bit. places that you knew you visited with him tend to ping up more often than not. And as you are, at the end of an hour or two, however much time you want to spend sort of looking for him, you do see like a fun, weird little hat in one shop window that you feel more drawn to, although you know it's not the one he was wearing. You
Can I buy the hat?
Yes,
If I'm drawn to it? Yeah. What does the hat look like?
The hat is a beanie with a propeller.
Perfect.
Yes.
Amazing.
I love that.
And as you go in, you purchase the hat, kind of hold it, sort of spin it around, play with the propeller a bit, and leave the shop. The trunk market is a bustling place. Not as busy as when the festival was in town, but it's still quite busy. You do see like one wayward streamer still hanging, one wayward line of flags still hanging in the air. And as you are just sort of looking around, you see kind of just like across the street from you a younger looking female Apoc. Very raccoon like features, very pretty, with very shiny boots. And as she kind of catches your eye, she gives a little bit of a wink and gestures for you to come over.
Primeval awareness.
Fiend.
Fiend.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
What?
Ooh.
Jump back in. So
I walk over to her.
you walk over to her. Great. She's like sitting on a barrel, feet just sort of like rocking side to side, very comfortably, just leaning over, arms crossed.
I'll take my ball back.
I forgot about that. There's kind of a look of just confusion for a second before it turns into a smirk, and she'll like pull out this random baseball and just,
Who is you?
you don't recognize me, I'm hurt.
I recognize you. Just had to make sure. I just chuck it back at her.
Steph is dying. She does catch it with one hand, and as she does, she kind of like pulls her other hand out of her cloak. And you catch a glimpse of a like shiny red gem kind of closed in on her fist. Just want to talk, and then I'll be out of your hair.
What's that for?
Protection.
Against what?
I didn't know if I was going to be received well by you or if you're going to try and stir up trouble. So this is protection against that.
You're in the middle of a market. It's not the best place to shoot someone.
Oh, this isn't going to shoot anyone.
No, I meant me shooting you. I wouldn't. Why would I do that here? There's guards.
Protection.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Cam. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I'm looking for Cam too.
So you haven't seen him.
That's not what I said.
Well, if you do see him, you should send him my way because I'm just trying to help, and he's a slippery critter.
Why would I send him to you?
Oh, I'm so glad you finally asked. Turns out your little friend and I work for the same employer. And he's not exactly following the rules to a T. So I thought, as a good supervisor, it would be advisable for me to teach him the ropes before he gets himself hurt. If you know where he is, I'd like to have a chat with him. Take him under my wing.
You're not a very good supervisor if you can't even find him.
He turned invisible in Bracken Mill and ditched. Otherwise, I was tracking you up to that point. Kind of looks at the gem before closing it in her fist once more, watching an older Vulpin with two younger Vulpins holding their hands, just sort of walking by.
What are you working for?
Didn't Camembert mention who he's working for?
No, I mean he has a lot of jobs.
I feel like this one's a little on the new side for him.
Yeah, I mean, go on. Dish girl.
Very impatient, aren't you? Did you want to go get a coffee or a drink?
You seem dangerous.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, let's grab a coffee. I what's gonna happen? We're in a city. You're not. I mean, you promise you're not gonna do anything funny.
I want to walk away from this unscathed. So if we're at least in the same mindset, I'll put the gem away.
I mean, you want? I can hold on to it.
Not a chance.
Persuasion.
You want you to roll persuasion on her?
No. I would like to persuade her.
Make a persuasion check.
How about I give you 10 gold and you give me that?
No. You can roll a persuasion check if you want.
I don't know.
The DC is like 40.
Sure. No. Yeah, put it away.
Tucks her hand in her pocket. Slides her way off the barrel and just starts to saunter, the little like raccoon-esque tail waving behind her. There's like a little pop-up Winters Bucks.
Winters Bucks?
Pop-up stand, pop-up
Yeah.
shop. She sort of hands you a latte. She grabs her own.
Did I see her put anything in it?
Make a perception check, but
Okay. I think it's a 22.
You didn't see her put anything in
Okay. All right, I sip.
it. Literally have a teacup here. Oh, there's a bug in my tea.
Oh,
This is protein.
That's
That's a
disgusting.
Winter's Bucks special. So are you gonna talk? Are you gonna tell me more about what you actually want?
Like I said, I just want to find Camembert. Him and I, we work for an entity known as the Eternal Forest. But see, the thing is that your little friend, I'm pretty sure, made a little deal.
Hmm.
And he hasn't really been keeping his end of the bargain for quite some time. And that's not really how deals work.
Is that why you attacked the bandits? Is that why you took control of that guy?
Control of what guy?
Uh, Ajax?
Oh,
Did you know his name?
no. That's not me. That's her.
Who's her?
Forest. The Eternal Forest. Sorry, she likes it when we get it right.
Did he have a deal with her too?
Not that I know of.
So she just possesses people randomly?
Ajax was more of a tool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was not that kind of a tool, although I could see how that would work, but he was just more of an implement. Right place, right time kind of thing. And I knew about him going in, but I was more there to make sure he did his job. That was very clever, getting him out of the picture. I saw that whole fight from the side of the mountains. Well done.
You're just here for Cam. There's not going to be any more funny business like up in the mountains.
I make no promises.
That's not fair.
Why is it not fair?
Because you're in the middle of a city right now. I mean, if that happened again, a lot of people would die.
Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
But I mean, if you can do it, why not just do it? What's stopping you
I haven't been told to yet.
from the trees?
From the Eternal Forest, not from the trees.
Have I ever heard of the Eternal Forest before?
Um, you can. I don't think so.
Yeah, like I
No,
said, I'm a
I
small
don't think
town
so.
boy from the south.
I don't think so.
Um, sorry, I just need to check if I have anything.
Yeah. As you're having this conversation, kind of a slow walk and talk, Petra sort of leaning up against a wall every so often to sort of look. She is shorter than you, so she kind of has to look up at you in this form. But there is no. She's a very dominant figure. If you don't know where Camembert is, then this is a bit of a waste. But if you do find him, just tell him that I'm looking for him before he gets hurt.
But I mean, why would he get hurt?
I told you he's not keeping his end of the deal.
Well, how do you know that if you haven't seen him?
Because I work for the Eternal Four. Am I going too fast for you, Apoc?
No, I get
thought you were a
that.
clever boy.
But you're not saying what you want or what the forest wants. You're just saying you're looking for Cam because you're a bad boss
I'm not a bad boss. I'm a good supervisor.
that doesn't know where. Are you guys colleagues? Old high school buddies?
No. No. I made a deal with the Eternal Forest for power. And in my deal, I had to send her wayward souls in order for her to stay alive so she could enact her plan.
So I guess Cam always did want to kill things. You know, are you sure he's not doing that? We're the only reason he stopped.
Yes, and since he's made this deal, I don't think he's sent a single soul. Still hasn't.
He's more of an all or nothing guy. Like I could see him doing like 40 at once just to get it out of the way. Kind of like just more efficient, right?
Not how deals work.
Was it outlined in the contract? Did you specify it'd have to be a certain number at a certain point?
I don't think you understand the severity of this situation, Apoc.
I mean, you just walked into a major city and flashed your boots at me. This is kind of taking me out of the blue. They're nice boots, by the way.
As you say that, Petra is with inhuman speed gonna reach out and grab you around your forearm. And she is going to kind of like twist your forearm over so that you can see. She's kind of grabbing you so that you can see her nails, and she's going to try and dig one nail into you.
Nice.
But as what?
I said nice.
As she does, and as you kind of like go to pull away, you see as she tries to strike, it's almost like her hand is like forced to move so that it doesn't actually hit you. I'd like you to make a perception check for me and make it at advantage since you're in close range.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, those are both 12s. Plus, gotta make sure this is actually right. Perception. 16.
16.
16.
As you are this close, instead of her flying, instead of her flying when you notice this, you see a gold chain around her neck that almost seems to like tighten or shift or, as best you can tell, react as she tries to hurt you. And it is reminiscent of your fight with her. You remember in an instant her reaching out to try and strike you, something holding her back and the blade missing. She lets go of your arm.
What was that? I thought we were cool.
We're just fine, but I needed to prove a point.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why all of these rules are in place for the Eternal Forest, maybe you should look within, Apoc. There's a reason I can't hurt you. Yet.
Wait. How do I look within?
What would Apoc do?
Just look down his shirt.
Oh my god. Your A score again. You see, like you physically hear Petra sigh as you do that. And like
which is -1.
oh Apoc. And just sort of like you really haven't put 2 and 2 together?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I got spooked and all this happened and we fought the thing and it died, but how does that relate to this? Is it the Eternal Forest?
The Eternal Forest needs a steady stream of souls.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
And
you attacked the avium?
no. That was something else with a very similar concept.
Are there 2 forests?
No, just one.
Okay.
Doesn't mean the abilities can't be similar. Sorry, Apoc.
So what's the fix?
Well, you being alive right now is the break.
What's the gas? No, I'm serious. Why do you keep laughing and looking down?
Andrea is laughing. I can't hurt you, Apoc, because you're not mine to hurt. You were the one that got away. and you belong to the forest.
Oh, okay. I just put my hand on her shoulder. I know a lot about the ones that got away. Listen, you're gonna find Cam,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna tell me where he is.
And why would I do that? He doesn't belong to you.
Don't belong to you either.
He belongs to the forest. If you see him, let him know that I'm looking.
What's your name?
Petra,
No, what's your real name?
you take me for a fool, Apoc.
I mean, you want the honest answer or the answer that'll make you feel good?
It's good to have a little mystery in relationships sometimes. I'll come ringing again. She pushes herself up from off the wall. You see her kind of wave over her shoulder as she starts to walk away. Anything?
Sip my latte.
Oh, gritty.
No, we're in the middle of the city. Apoc's not that stupid.
Apoc's not stupid, he's cute.
He's only -1 stupid.
He's only -1 stupid.
What'd you get at Winter
Yeah,
Bucks?
Probably just
Like the Elder Hardo. It's like an American.
What?
It's like an Americano.
Oh, an Elder Hardo.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right. As you finish up your coffee, finishing up your spa day, finishing up all of your shopping and errands, it is starting to wind down into the evening. Basil, we're going to pop back over to you. As it is getting into more of that.
Before we do Basil's thing, because I don't want to,
yeah.
I want to let that take some. I'm gonna go back to my room and I want to just grab Basil before I do.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Hey Basil, do you have like an extra knife that I could borrow?
I'll say I only have this one dagger, but I was planning to use it to.
Wiped.
Well, why'd you do that?
I need something that cuts. If you have like something else, that's fine. I need something that can cut.
He'll like search through his bag and he has a hand axe.
That'll
Will
do.
this work?
Yeah, that'll do. I'll take the hand axe. Okay.
He'll be like playing with his knife, being like, "You're up to something, Aurora."
Yeah, I am.
Asked and answered.
It's like, all right, Basil, Sir Basil, be safe tonight. Whatever you're up to. I'm getting a premonition that you're gonna be doing something dodgy. Just be safe.
He'll just be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
And I'm gonna reach over and I'm just gonna. You're gonna do okay, and I'm gonna cast Bardic Inspiration on you.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna go back to after that conversation's done. I'm gonna go back to my room and work on one of the rituals in the book.
Okay.
I'll message you after. But anyways.
Yep. Please do.
Okay.
I've not looked at this book enough to know.
Did Aurora and Elle actually go to this dinner for which Elle bought her posh frock?
I'm assuming yes, unless Aurora does not want to go.
I think we can go, but
It is, for the most part, it is exactly how you expect it to be, Aurora. And Elle, extremely awkward for the most part. Jesper is a little annoyed at you for the setup date with someone like 4 times her age. And your mother and father are berating you to try and keep you there in Alderheart so that you do not leave once more into the dangerous world.
okay.
with fresh cookies from your nan, who is trying to keep the peace at this moment.
And I'd probably play into it, like fully knowing behind the scenes that I'm not gonna listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's like the goodbye hug in the foyer, giving Elle a squeeze, giving you a squeeze with like a very knowing, like you better come back kind of vibe as you leave the dinner. But the branzino's delicious.
Oh.
On the walk back from the dinner, Elle is just gonna turn to Aurora and ask, "So, who's Maylin? I was gonna ask at dinner, but there's a lot already going on."
Who's what?
Maylin?
Oh, Maitland.
Malin.
Maitland.
Maitland. She'll say it again very slowly.
Well, between you and me, he was my younger brother.
Oh.
He'd be about your age if he was still with us.
Did he go missing?
No, I know where he is.
Are you trying to find him? Is he your nut?
Yeah, he's my nut.
Oh.
I love this.
It's so cute.
I think I'm gonna start tearing up and I start crying and like just kind of hold your hand as we walk back to wherever we're going.
And Elle's gonna skip a little bit. Her tutu just like flouncing out.
No, absolutely. I just encourage all of that.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I think that would do her in. She'd be done there.
Right? Basil.
Yes.
As after Aurora takes your axe into the early evening, where it is starting to get a little darker in the tree city in the canopy, you can easily make your way up to the top ring, so the ring with the council chambers. You do see once more Aelin and Astra, as well as Trevor, the other younger tender, just sort of sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground of the ring, almost sort of absent-mindedly chatting with one another. You see Aelin acknowledge you as having more contact with you recently, Astra kind of following along and giving a nod and a smile. And you are easily able to walk the streets down to the House of Zogma. As you do notice that you are passing patrols, and this is not a new thing from your time here in the city. Whether it's in the trunk market, the canopy market, even in the routes while you were down there the first time, noticing that there is a perch guard presence trying to keep the peace on the streets. But certainly in this area, as this is the headquarters of this garrison, I'm not sure the right word for it, but the headquarters of the perch guard are in this upper ring. So there is a presence of them on these streets. You do not draw out of the ordinary attention as you are walking down the kind of curving street towards the House of Zogma, past all these mansions. But you do see the perch guard clocking you, taking note of you as you are walking, something that you recognize as just being on alert. After the festival with the bandit attack a couple weeks ago, I think it's been about, I want to say 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. There is an alertness to kind of keep a better eye out so that there are no more casualties in the Tree City. But you do, after passing 1 patrol, 2 patrol, are able to make your way to the outside, the kind of like wrought iron fenced. It's not so much a yard as it is like a property line, with the overgrown window boxes full of vegetation, grasses, things that are very unkempt to the outside of the House of Zogma. What are you doing?
I would say, given that Basil would have spent a good portion of his childhood in this home or around this home, uh, could he probably not go through the head towards the front entrance, but could he head to like maybe the side of the house, or like maybe there's another entranceway inside?
So the way that the house is built and the houses here are built is they are carved from the tree itself.
I see, okay.
So it's more of a facade that you can see, but it's not protruding. Like the front entrance is kind of rounded, protruding, for example, but there is not necessarily a side of the house. It's more built into the bark itself.
In that case, he'll kind of just walk into the grounds and approach the door. Try not to look like as if he's sneaking around. As if he's just like casually walking up to the door.
Casually walking up to the door. Okay. Opening up the gate that has like one hinge on it. It's kind of just like a normal oak. It's a waist high gate on you. It's a reach to unlock kind of gate. And it does creak as you push it open, same as what happened when you walked through it with Jesper. And you walk up to the door and once more push on it. Still locked the way it was before. You can try to pick the lock, bust down the door.
I will. There's a porch guard everywhere. I'll try and pick the lock.
I'm gonna try and pick the lock. Okay. Do you have? I don't think you have thieves' tools in your inventory, so I'm just going to need a straight dexterity check.
Okay. Okay, sure. That's a 13.
A 13. You kind of use your dagger to go ahead and pick the lock, and with everything that is weathered, abandoned, now that you are taking better consideration here, this is not like this is old. This is old weathering. You do feel the lock. If it doesn't move, it certainly snaps. But as you go to push the door in again, it still does not budge. You kind of get the idea as you sort of push on it that there is almost like a barricade on the other side, like a piece of plywood or something that has been barricading the door.
Okay.
As you do push, I will say this, as you do push, because the lock is not an issue anymore, you do kind of get these double doors almost to where, you push it just enough to where the door crack in the door opens just enough to where you can kind of get little glimpses inside. And you see it's very dark on the inside with the quick snatches you can get. You see a cobwebs, a layer of dust. You see a familiar rug now that you've seen it again, very gaudy. You kind of get the sense, the remembrance that it was a like a deep indigo rug with gold trimming. You see like another push, you see like a staircase where some of the railing and the pickets have sort of fallen. A stair it's almost like a crooked first couple stairs. Another push and you can see there's like a second floor with more pickets that have fallen open, a decrepit railing, a column, a spiraled column that is starting to fall apart. That's kind of the sense you get just from like pushing, making noise each time you are pushing the door.
I think that Sir Basil would look around. If he doesn't see any perch guard, he'll bust open the door.
Okay, make me a perception check.
Okay.
If you're going to be watching out for perch guard, go ahead and give me a perception check.
18.
18. as you go to kind of like look over your shoulder to really quickly see if there are any perch guard there, you turn and you actually see, with a little bit of like shock on her face, holding a basket full of what looks like little apples. You see Arna, the maid is not the right word, but like the nurse, the in-house helper of Lavender, who's just kind of looking at you with a little bit of shock and some sad eyes. I thought I saw you in the market.
It's late out. What are you doing out at this hour?
Gonna go get some apples. I was gonna make a cobbler. Lavender was worried that you would come back here after you visited last time.
There are a lot of sad memories here, and unfortunately, I think they still have a hold on me.
Sorry, Basil.
It's not your fault.
Lavender doesn't really talk about it, but after you left, the first time, no, sorry, the last time you were here when you had to go, first time I ever heard her talk about it was her being scared that you'd come back. To this. She kind of looks up at the decrepit house. I didn't see you here if you want to go ahead and go in. I'm not going to stop you, but I'll be fine what you're looking for if you do go. You can come back for some cobbler if you want. It'll be really good tomorrow morning or even tomorrow evening. It tastes really good the day after the recipe that I have.
So Basil's gonna smile, walk up, maybe even like reach out and touch her hand and say, "Thank you. You have been so good to my family, and even now to me. Um, I think this is something that I need. Save me a slice of that pie, or a cup."
Cobbler. It's cobbler. um, Good luck, I guess. She kind of like turns and she sort of like takes a step and rather confidently just starts walking away in the direction of the main part of the ring to start going back down. As for any perch guard, don't see any on the street right now. The street itself does kind of curve, and it's got kind of a street light effect with very small little like dancing, softly glowing lights to kind of illuminate the street a bit. You could hear like neighborhood kids playing down the street out of sight, but you don't see or hear any perch guard right now.
Bust open the door.
Okay. Just make a strength check for me, please.
Okay. Ooh.
Actually, this could be athletics. This would be athletics since you are. Yeah, this would be athletics.
Oh, okay. It's still only a 10. What is bardic inspiration again?
A D8 if it's been within 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll add a.
Yeah, go for it.
Come on, 8.
So that's an 18 now.
Whoa!
Nice.
You rolled an 8 on the 8. Holy smokes. Yeah. One look over your shoulder, one last look over your shoulder, you heave into it and you feel the plywood crack. And the doors like bust open. You kind of take a step over the threshold. The dust kind of poofs around your foot and gently lands. Everything you saw from pushing between the cracks is now better illuminated with the soft light from outside, if not more creepy with the shadows that are dancing over broken pieces of wood. That swirling column, the decorative pillar on the upper one, you now see has like cracks through it, creating a terrifying like scratch shadow on the wall up it. You see sconces off their hilt or off kilter is what I'm trying to say. Torches long fallen down. You do see like scratched into some of the wood, almost like a M plus E with a heart kind of scratch, like some graffiti almost, but very little in this case. You don't see anything past like the first two pillars of the staircase.
Okay.
It's falling apart, but doesn't look like this is like the hangout for teenagers, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know. He's driving me nuts. Sorry.
Sir Basil, he's gonna take out the knife or the dagger that he's been like playing with like last night and all today. Not knowing what he's gonna be facing in there. He's just gonna like kind of flip it in his hands, look at it. Like here's just for fun he'll flip it in his hand, knock it against the door, like kind of like a little, and he's gonna throw it into the ground right in front of the door. So just essentially just sticking the dagger in the ground.
Right into the wood of the floor, you mean?
Yeah, so it's essentially on the outside, like wherever it could be in dirt, it could be in wood, but he's just sticking it in the ground.
Oh, okay. Outside the threshold of the door.
Correct. And then
Okay.
he's gonna take the sword, and similar to what he did with the dagger before, he's gonna like concentrate on it, and then it's just gonna engulf in flame, and he's gonna use that as a torch as he enters into the house, and maybe he closes the door behind him.
And so it's stuck in the ground and it's on fire.
He's leaving the dagger, which is something that he was playing with all night, attuning to. He's leaving it outside the front door, stuck in the ground.
Oh.
And he's walking in to the house with a lit sword.
Oh, okay.
And he's gonna close it behind him. The door behind him.
You're gonna close the door behind you. Okay.
And
Probably good if you're trying to stealth.
Yeah. And
Okay.
with this lit sword, he's just gonna start walking around and checking things out.
How much time are you gonna spend here?
I
Because
would
we are into that like early to mid evening, so we're looking at like a 9 o'clock-ish kind of thing.
yeah, I would think that having been in this house before, granted it's been many years, he
Mhm.
would know kind of the nooks and crannies. He would just want to just do a thorough walk around. One kind of just like maybe like for nostalgia's sake, but also to trying to see if there's anything left in the house that would kind of like reveal like whatever happened to the Zogma family. Where did they end up? Or maybe like he goes into the old quarters where his family, when they were serving the Zogma family, where they stayed. I don't know, just looking around. So I can
Okay.
see him spending like maybe 2 hours just walking around the house.
Wow, okay. I was about to say it is, if you are going to be careful to not get hurt while you're in this decrepit, falling apart house,
Okay, so
it is going to take you, yes, a longer time to do this sweep that you want to do. I will just say go ahead and make either an investigation or perception check. I'm going to say investigation for this one, actually, because you are taking your time to sweep it.
okay, I'm not good at investigation, but we'll see. That's a do I want to re-roll?
There's a bug in this drink, too!
Oh no!
No.
Damn it. Ugh,
Is the answer or
I'm still going to drink it. I just won't drink the bug.
Yeah.
To do what?
to re-roll?
To reroll.
Fine,
it.
Steph.
I don't know. I personally would. What would Basil do?
I only rolled a 9.
Are you gonna stick with it, or are you gonna? I'm assuming it's Indomitable or something,
Debating if I want to use my inspiration.
or your inspiration.
You want to use it?
Yeah, I'll reroll.
Okay.
Come on. I rolled the exact same number.
Okay. As a heads up, you do still have that all or nothing coin.
Yes.
Okay. Um, did you want to use it, or are you gonna stick with your 9?
Stick with my 9 for now.
Okay. All right. As you are trying to do a thorough sweep here, being very careful where you put your feet. Everything is creaky. Everything is old. At one point, you put your hand almost absentmindedly on the stairwell or the stair railing, and it basically collapses, just like disintegrates under your hand as it just falls apart. It seems like when left unkempt, the magic of this tree that holds all the buildings together speeds up this decay process. You are able to do a sweep of this house without noticing too much because of the current state of it. What you do notice, it seems like it's been ransacked-ish. Like there are no portraits.
Okay.
There are no tapestries. There are no jewels. There are no riches. Anything, you find like one candelabra that is like a coated brass, like cheaper candelabra. But that is it. Any treasure, any identity of this home is gone.
Mhm.
It is bare bones. You do feel quite confident that you have done a sweep. The quarters that you stayed in, the kitchens off to the side, the main dining room, even the upper bedrooms, the office, Zogma's office. You do count. You've never really been in the hallway towards the bedrooms before. You do count quite a few doors. One that you know for sure is the office, but almost up like a narrow staircase is a hallway full of other doors. And as you go up there, you count 5 bedrooms. Devoid of anything. Any sheets are covered in dust and ripped. No pillows. Empty. How does Basil feel spending 2 hours in this house that he has had such a bad childhood in?
I would say a part of him is maybe a little disappointed that he didn't find something. Like he knows that Evie, who is apparently related to Zogma, is important. There's nothing that necessarily helped with that, but at the same time too, he's probably a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's maybe got a little satisfied smirk on his face because thinking that, oh, look how far the great House of Zogma has fallen, type thing. But he kind of just like tries to, like every now and then he gets that feeling, and then he just kind of continues looking. So it's a mix between a little disappointment of not finding anything, but it's something to like, ha, stick it to Zogma type thing.
Your time goes by as you cross each hallway, cross each door, cross each room. You make it back into the foyer, having these mixed feelings, these mixed thoughts kind of moving through you this whole time. But you feel as confident as a 9 will get you that you have done a thorough sweep.
Okay.
And have not found anything other than the fact that you didn't find anything. If that makes sense. What do you do?
Oh boy. The way you say that makes me feel like I could have found something. Um,
This guy.
No.
okay. I'll go with my original role and just say having feeling like like he's satisfied with the search. He'll just head back to the main door. Maybe before he like opens it to leave, he'll turn around and just take a moment to take in the place. And he'll say maybe farewell, Zogma. I hope our paths never cross again, but if they do, you better watch out. And then he'll just snuff out his sword and open the door to leave and pick up his dagger.
Your dagger is gone.
I will. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Do you cross the threshold of this door? Basil opens the door. He had left the dagger on the outside of the threshold of the door. You notice it's not there as you go to pick it up. You have 1 foot in, 1 foot in the air. What does Basil do?
Holding onto his sword. He is going to, before even his foot touches the ground, he's going to blink to wherever the dagger is.
Oh, because you attuned to it.
He did. And he
Okay.
says, for whatever he might see.
Okay. You blink to where the dagger is. Yeah, okay. You come face to face with a corvum. The room you're in is still very dark. It's lit by some very warmly glowing amber light. The corvum has very dark black feathers. They are wearing a like loose tunic around their torso, a loose pair of slacks, in a like a deep purple almost. They are holding this dagger in their hand, and there is a look of shock that crosses their face for a split second before they realize who they're looking at. They stand up from the chair that they're sitting in, and they are tall. You can tell that they're like well-built, a male corvum, with a sort of splash of white across one side of their face, almost like a birthmark, if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
And as they sort of look and tower over you, a grin holding on to your dagger with the onyx hilt. And they just kind of look at you. I wasn't expecting to meet you so soon again, Basil. Creepy house wasn't enough to get you out of here, was it, eh? I think that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Cool.
Is that Zogma? Does Zogma have a thing on his face?
Well, Zogma would have a scar
So this was a younger Corvum than even Zogma was.
Yeah, it could
Looks to be in his like mid-20s.
Is that old for Corvum?
No, it's on par to what we would consider like 20 is like the 30 of human years,
Gotcha.
essentially, for Corvum.
Whoa. And he definitely recognized
The party again.
Cool.
5 different directions.
Yeah, good thing Basil told us where he went.
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
Basil.
that is suspense. Wow. Okay.
Oh, Basil.